Hi, I'm Janet Kurtz, Editor-in-Chief of Nfocus.
And I'm Madeline Bradford, Associate Editor of Nfocus. Welcome back to our second episode of In Good Company, our weekly recap of things that happened in the past week. So how was your week?
It was fantastic. We had so many great events to cover, but I also got to have just a little personal time. Sandra Littman had this beautiful and intimate event at the new shops at Bal Harbour. And I know we wrote about this in our issue, but we got to see it in real life. It was a beautiful evening under the stars. The shops are fantastic. I'm not going to lie. I do still have my eye on a Valentino bag that I saw there.
Ooh.
It's fantastic. And we just had a really good time. It was a nice ladies' evening shopping. And I do have to give a shout out also to the Nashville Repertory Theater, whose production of Come From Away opened this weekend and continues through next weekend. Not only is that a powerful show that I highly recommend anybody go see, is really impactful and emotional, it was brought to us by local artists. Mm-hmm. And the Nashville Repertory Theater does such a good job of highlighting the talent that we have here locally. And it's just wonderful. So it was a great weekend. But speaking of weekends, we had an event that happened last weekend that you covered for us.
I covered Chukkers for Charity, which was such a blast. I've never been to a polo match before, but I had so much fun. The rain luckily held off. It was pretty stormy in the morning, but once afternoon hit, it was crisp and cool. It felt like autumn. It was one of the first fall days that we'd had in our fake fall. Now it's hot, but but the leaves were just starting to tinge with orange on the drive. It was beautiful. And when we got there, everybody was in their fun florals. The theme was Fiesta on the Field. So Nashville really showed up for that with their colors, their florals. A lot of people were also debuting some new fall fashions with earth tones, plaid, lots of trench coats, Wellington boots instead of heels because it was a little bit muddy. But once we got to the main event, the match was so lively. And per tradition, during halftime, there were children with miniature horse stick pony races, which was very cute, miniature horses and divot stomping in the field.
Just like Pretty Woman.
Just like Pretty Women.
Amazing.
And I had so much fun participating in one of the oldest polo traditions.
Speaking of fashion, I actually went to the newly reimagined Chic Awearness.
How was that?
Every year, I think they just build on it. And Marcy Huff, who our audience will remember, we did that wonderful Q&A and our in the hot seat.
That was a great conversation.
It really was. And she touched on with us about how it started in a hair salon. And last year, she and the board decided that they wanted to reinvent this event that funds crucial research to eradicate ovarian cancer, which incidentally is a rare cancer. And so not only does the funding go to help do research to eradicate the disease, there's also a mentorship program. And Marcy really talks about that because that was a very touching program for her to participate in. So the evening started with champagne cocktails in the bar area of Mimo in the Four Seasons Nashville. And then guests were invited to sit for dinner. So it was a more intimate evening. The room was awash with teal, and that is the color of ovarian cancer awareness. Mm-hmm. So people understood the assignment and everyone was in their teal.
Good.
And then the fashion. And what was so amazing was they changed from a full-on fashion show with a runway, everybody seated on the side, mm-hmm. to a salon-style fashion show.
So tell us, what is a salon-style fashion show?
It's a much more intimate fashion show. The models actually walk through the room. They walk by the tables. They interact with the guests at the tables.
Wow.
They encourage you to touch the fabric and see if that's a fabric that you would like to wear. So it's a really fun and unique way to have fashion really brought to you versus kind of having that fourth wall that exists on a runway.
That sounds very immersive.
It was. And we really had just a beautiful time. And I hope they continue that wonderful format next year.
Speaking of fun formats, you got a sneak peek of a new event to Nashville. Can you tell us about that?
I did. Nashville, we love a new event. And this year we had the American Brain Foundation Gala. And to kick it off, we actually sat down with Adam Sansiveri, our fresh face of Philanthropy from last year, and his twin brother, Sean, and they told us a little bit about what to expect before the event. Hi, we're here with Adam and Sean Sansiveri, co-chairs of the American Brain Foundation Brain Gala, and we're here to talk about the exciting event and really get some background on it. So, hey guys.
Hi, good morning.
It's good to have you here. Some of you may recall that Adam was one of our fresh faces of Philanthropy. He was our cover model and has continued to do so much amazing work in the city. And we really are so honored to do that and really excited to hear about this new initiative. Tell us a little bit about the American Brain Foundation, first of all, and then the gala itself.
Sure. I'm happy to kick off. So I took over as chair of the American Brain Foundation just this past year. We have a long-standing relationship with this incredible organization. My life prior to my current job was actually general counsel and head of business for the NFL Players Association. And the American Brain Foundation was one of the first organizations to step up and endorse those mitigation efforts to reduce injuries in professional football. So that's where the relationship kicked off. I joined the board shortly thereafter and just fell in love with the mission, which is very simple and very powerful, which is cure one, cure many. The idea behind that is brain diseases are interconnected in nature, and so if you have a breakthrough in one area, it's going to lead to cures in other areas.
Oh, that's so interesting. So I noticed even in some of the research that we're also looking at things in Alzheimer's and some dementia cases and things like that. They're doing that as well.
Dementia, ALS, MS, brain cancer. Find a breakthrough in one area, find a cure in another.
Wow, that's incredible and such important and great work. So thank you for that. Tell us a little bit about the gala itself. This is really exciting. It's the first time it's been in Nashville, so we're excited to hear about that.
Well, I guess the headline for Nashville is, this makes a lot of sense for Nashville. The amazing philanthropic nature of a city like Nashville ties so well, given it's the healthcare capital of the United States, to a cause like the American Brain Foundation.
Just earlier this year, the World Health Organization proclaimed that brain disease and disability is now the #1 leading cause of disability and ill health in the world. We thought, let's come and bring this important cause to this important philanthropic community and hopefully have a lot of success with it.
And so much so that Mayor Freddie O'Connell officially proclaimed that Saturday, the 13th of September, is officially American Brain Foundation Day for Nashville.
Wow. Oh, that's fantastic. Well, great. Is there anything else that you want to tell us about it that we maybe haven't covered?
We're coming into the event already, I think, exceeding the goal that the organization had set. And I think, it's very reasonable we'll walk away at the end of the night in the, 7-figure range of money raised for this cause with the first time ever in Nashville. That's pretty exciting.
It's a huge thank you to Nashville for welcoming the American Brain Foundation in such a big way.
And as I understand it, this will not be the last time it's in Nashville.
This is our inaugural event in Nashville, and we'll be back next year.
That's fantastic. Well, great. Well, thank you both so much for being here. September 13th, look for the full coverage in our October issue. We're so glad to have you both with us. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Now, Janet, tell us how the event was when you went.
That was so that's what was so interesting about it was, here was this event that was specific for brain diseases and eradicating brain diseases. And I did not know until speaking with Sean and Adam that 1 in 3 people in the world is affected by brain disease.
Wow.
And that is a huge number. And in fact, that night, what made it so special was their honorees. And their honorees included Selma Blair, who is just so effervescent. She greeted every guest like they were a new best friend. She was just a joy to be around. She had a stunning Monique Lillier gown, and she walked into a room and it just truly lit up the space. And so she was really wonderful to have there. We had the NFL was one of the honorees, and then the actor Sean Astin, who unfortunately could not be here, although this weekend I think it was announced that he's the new president of the Screen Actors Guild.
Amazing.
So congratulations to him on that appointment. But he spoke so poignantly by video about his mother truly being his inspiration to eradicate brain disease. And I just really, it was just such a touching moment in the room. And there were so many. And I think that that's what brought this event really into such sharp relief. Was they had motivational speakers. They had Selma speak. It was a beautiful evening. And then when they had Guster play, and that was a lot of fun. Everybody was up dancing. It was one of those events where people stayed and they danced and they stayed late into the night. And so it was something that I can't wait. And as Sean and Adam told us, they'll be back next year.
I love that.
Yeah.
It sounds like inspiration just flowed throughout that room.
It really did. It really did. And again, I say that people were there was like an uplifting sense in the room, and it was wonderful.
That's beautiful.
Yeah. Now, at the same time, you were across the city covering Paint the Town. Tell us about that.
Yes, it was the second annual Paint the Town for the Preservation Society of Nashville. And let me tell you, Clementine Hall, the venue, absolutely gorgeous. It's this restored Presbyterian church from around 1880. And they really integrated the space in such an interesting way. There are so many different places where you can gather, from the outdoor courtyard to the main venue with a massive pipe organ from 1905.
Yes.
Guests at first started mingling in the courtyard, having cocktails and looking at live painters who were painting these Nashville landmarks that would later be sold in the auction. And everyone was so talented. It was amazing to watch their process and how quickly they were able to paint from just a photograph.
Oh, wow.
The venue really is a testament to what PSN stands for, which is preserving Nashville's history, but also finding creative ways to integrate it as the city. And two of our model behavior honorees, Kelly Bannon and Colson Horton, were there. Of course, they are the co-founders of PSN, and they're also our cover girls in the September issue. They were just overflowing with gratitude for everybody in the room. Colson got a little teary-eyed when she was speaking, which was very sweet to see. And they announced that there's going to be a new preservation plan for the city of Nashville that they got approval from Metro Nashville to do in 2026, and PSN is going to be the supporting nonprofit.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing.
Incredible.
Well, congratulations to them. That's fantastic.
The room filled with applause. Everybody was so excited to support that cause, and it truly was a beautiful evening.
Good. Oh, that's wonderful. And so great to hear, and such a wonderful benefit to the city of Nashville. And
absolutely.
So we're so excited about that. Well, that's our wrap up for this week. We can't thank you enough for joining us again. Please join us next week when we talk about Cause for Pause, the zoo's Sunset Safari, and the Harpeth Conservancy's River Swing, which I know you are covering for us. Yes. So that'll be a lot of fun.
Super excited for that.
We're Janet and Madeline, and with you, our Nfocus friends, we are in good company.